You have big ambitions for your wealth management business, and you're motivated to get going, but you need a clear path forward to accelerate your success even faster as you build the amazing life of significance you want.
Welcome to the $1 Million Plus Advisor Show, where we help get you on the fast track up the hierarchy of advisor success. So today, everyone, we are joined by Frank Astorino, who has served as CEO of the Astorino Financial Group, Inc. since founding the company in 1986. As a certified financial planner professional with in-depth knowledge on a vast array of financial services, including risk management, tax and retirement planning, and investment counseling, Mr. Astorino has grown his team into a successful company that serves a broad client base. So before founding Astorino Financial Group, Mr. Astorino was a registered financial advisor with the Financial Network from 1983 to 1986. There, he provided fee-based planning and acted as chief case writer, a frequent public speaker, and advocate for sound wealth management. He also became a member of the International Association of Financial Planning. So Frank is currently working with CEG, and he's going to talk to us today about several topics, including one, the difference he's seen in his business over the past few years, what steps he's taken to achieve the success he's seen, and then, of course, he's going to share his best advice for living an amazing life of significance. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome Frank to the show. So Frank, it's so great to see you, and thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure, Allison. I've enjoyed working with you and CEG for some time now.
Yeah. So well, first of all, so our first question, just to bring the audience up to speed on the client experience you provide, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, your company, where you're located, how long you've been in business, any interesting personal information, stuff like that, that would be great.
All right, so I'll start with the personal and then go business. I'm one of 8 children. I have 4 children of my own, 1 adopted, and 3 are triplets.
Oh, wow.
So that's part of my claim to fame. Happily married for 35 years. And I've been in the financial planning, wealth management world since 1983. And from there, I did get my CFP, I did get my master's in financial planning, and I did get my certified private wealth designation. And all of that has reinforced a passion for helping people. The master's in financial planning is really advanced planning, which is where I've been most comfortable in the last several years. So we've gone from affluent families, and we still cater to them, but we are finding a niche with some complex blended high net worth families who are business owners or C-suite executives and are looking for more than just the cookie cutter financial plan. They're looking for that tax mitigation, risk management, estate transfer. And I would say 2 areas that we're pretty distinguished in is the philanthropic area. I've been on several boards for charitable organizations, and I've helped facilitate probably close to 20 million in fundraising for families that utilize these instruments. And the other thing I think would be distinguished is I do have a network of people in the mental health area. So we have psychologists on retainer. I have an MD that I refer for some of our seniors who are going through difficult transitions.
Oh, wow.
And I also donate a lot to literacy and mental health for young and disadvantaged children.
Oh, wow. That's so great. I mean, clearly you are going beyond just investment consulting, really thinking of the big picture needs of all of your clients, it sounds like. Wow.
I'm a big picture context person. So yes, I do get in the minutia as well as the life of significance. And that's what I'm most grateful for sharing. I think it's important investing in experience as much as investing in real estate or investments or whatever, works for the family.
Right. So I'm really curious. So with CEG's help, I would love to hear, how long you've been working with CEG too, but what specific strategies were really instrumental in your move up the hierarchy of advisor success?
Yeah, I would say at the outset, and I think it's almost 3 years, and I'm on the round table.
Mhm.
Um, and it's been like drinking out of a fire hose. And the more that I have engaged, not only CEG, but the attendant professional relationships like DNA Branding and Joel Weldon from working on my public speaking. We've had all kinds of experts that, from property and casualty to tax mitigation. So I really feel that that relationship component has been enhanced. But I would say first and foremost, what CEG has done for me is given structure to everything I know. So, spending 35 years in the business, you know a lot, and
Yep.
there's not too much I haven't seen. But I think if I were to go back in time and I met John when I got in the business, which was around the time he got in the business, I would have mirrored the model that he developed. So I think that's where we align.
Mhm.
And probably more important than that, on a personal level and a healthy, selfish level, I didn't know what a life of significance meant until I really started to think about why I do what I do. And answering that why question has led me to really rethink my whole practice and redefine, who sits in the chairs and, what's really important and what really matters. And I've become very disciplined with it. It's not a completed process yet,
Mhm.
but I am taking more trips. I am spending more time with family. I am gravitating more towards charitable causes. And I've spent 2 decades as an elected official, which has given me insight to what I think the world is facing in some deficit of leadership. So that's why I like being a thought leader.
Mhm.
And CEG has introduced me to the equipment. So and the pandemic has kind of forced me into it. So I am doing a lot with media and podcasts, and that is becoming kind of the way of the future.
Right. Wow. So it sounds like let me try to summarize like a few things that I'm hearing. So with CEG, it sounds like there was like a foundational kind of process setting that was really important to you.
Mhm.
So it was the process, and it's also access to the thought leadership content, and then also we have strategic partners here at CEG, and so access to those people who are really experts in, like, say, presenting or doing the video production. So it sounds like a combination of things, and maybe even like bigger than all that was really getting in touch with your why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing, and what is your vision? What do you really want? So is that like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, to kind of tie that together, my tag, I used to have a lot of directors of in the Fortune 100 arena in advertising, and I ended up hiring one of them. And my tag that they gave me back then in the first half of my career was financial planning without limits. And what that basically stood for is there's nothing I wouldn't do for a client, and to make them whole and to solve for their emotional and financial profile. From that point, a director at Deutsche Bank or one of the other financial institutions who became a client did help me redefine our tag, which was putting clients first. And that's before it became a legal term. So putting clients first was kind of an offspring of financial planning without limits, when I realized that I didn't have unlimited capacity to
Uh-huh.
do everything for everybody.
It's a
So
nice idea, isn't it?
it was great while it worked, and I'm very grateful to the clients that have stayed with me all these years. But now, in fairness to those clients, and in fairness to the new prospects and avatar prospects that we have,
Mhm.
is I had to become more defined and more structured in how I process. And I've had to bring in people who are equally passionate about maintaining the ethic and at the same time, having the infrastructure to deliver.
Yeah. So I'm really curious, how were you able to implement that to the, going from trying to be everything to everyone to becoming more streamlined in who you served and what you did for clients? Big picture, what did that implementation look like, and how did you address challenges? Because that doesn't sound like an easy thing
It's not easy.
to do.
And I would think that my mind went faster than my physical and energy level was able to at first. So I would caution people to focus on 3 things, but I focused on 12. And so, it had a kind of a diminishing return until I got more, now in that. But I would say identifying who I liked working with. So financial planning enabled me to become financially independent and enabled me to be happy with what I do. So I have the good fortune of being able to define who I want to work with. And it's not just about the wealth. It's about who takes the advice, who appreciates the value, because not everybody appreciates value or is capable of appreciating value. They think that they can't see the connection between tax mitigation and peace of mind with the numbers. If I can get X solution for 8 basis points instead of 50 basis points, they think there's some free lunch out there. So I like working with people who are astute at evaluating results and outcomes, but there's a synergy of respect that, I'm doing it at a passion and at a competence, and they're grateful because they don't know what they would have done without it. So CEG does cater to that level of delivery.
Yeah. So in doing this, I love that, really defining your ideal client, the kind of personalities they have who can appreciate what you do. What have been the benefits to you, your clients, both personally and professionally?
Well, for the clients who do come first, they're getting a broader scope of what I can access for them, whether it be, cold literature, whether it be a presentation, whether it be a tax expert that goes beyond. They have a network. I think the Roundtable has been great because I've also networked with some of the people on Roundtable. So it's really like you could be as big as Amazon and still be an 8-man office or woman office. And that's what technology, globalization, and CEG has offered. So I think it starts with having an avatar profile client, which I do have. It has a finer tuning with centers of influence. It's becoming aligned with your team and getting them to see the vision. That was my biggest challenge, because some people are black and white and task people, and other people are visionary and get it, and they work with you. And then I guess the other thing was to streamline what our deliverables are. If someone wants a brokerage account, here's what you get for it. If you want to have advanced planning, that structure was really helpful. I love the discovery process. So when I get into the discovery process with someone, that could be my role totally, and I would enjoy it and I would do it every day. The advanced planning comes with having a good team, a competent team, a smart team that can put the numbers together, that could put the mind maps together, and then I can deliver on what it is that they need. And it's an art as much as a science, and I feel very comfortable in that space. I don't feel comfortable trying to do everything, and I don't feel comfortable with people who want your information, but they don't want to be part of the family, so you have to kind of say next, and not take everybody that comes in.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you're not you're working with people that you want to work with now. You're not doing things that are outside of your scope. You have this network of professionals that can help your clients. It sounds like such a change from what we see a lot of advisors like when they come in with, and they're so focused on investment consulting, and then now it's when then they go through the program and they really see like, oh wow, I have to be that general manager, I have to be that wealth manager, and I have to have the right team, and I have to have the right client avatar. So I'm super curious, what does your ideal client look like? What is that client avatar?
Well, the number side keeps moving up because the demand for quality, high net worth advice. But right now it's 3 million and up to deal with me, and it's 1 million and up to deal with the firm. We've grandfathered a lot of other people that don't quite have 1 million, but they have helped us get to where we are. We're very strong with family stewards, people who care about the next generation, have a philanthropic sensitivity. They're appreciative of any kind of tax savings that can be provided. They understand that by being independent, we're not limited to any platforms that are out there. But they have to understand that you get what you pay for. So, our elite money managers are not the least expensive, but if you want the least expensive, we can facilitate that. We also want people that can understand that wealth management is what we do, and that the investment consulting part is a component of it, but also the relationship network is, and the advanced planning is also a value that we're adding that they would not normally get on their own.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that I mean, we always talk about, it's not about being the least expensive, it's about delivering amazing value for what you're worth. Yeah. Okay. So lastly, we talk a lot here in the Advisor Show about living a life of significance. So what does that phrase mean to you? And what's your best tips for living an amazing life of significance?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing and have done, and then I'll put it into, I guess, a recommendation. I've learned and started using mind maps when I started working with CEG. So I start with spiritual, and I break down, what does that mean, and what do I want to do to enhance my spiritual life. I focus on my family, and I'm going to be a grandparent for the first time in about a month. So I am now looking at how do I want to, transition into being a good grandparent. On my personal, if I were to go from 0 to 10 on each of these categories, I think the area I need the most work is to work on my health and nutrition and walking and swimming and golfing. And I've always put the business and the work first, and not that part. I grew up as an athlete and played Division I tennis in college, and I missed that. So that's part of my bucket list. From the business standpoint, I've really invested in half, if not more than half, virtual relationships. I have a CFO, I have marketing, and I have administration virtually. And then I have people who are long-term, staff members. And then the community, I'm always trying to balance and juggle my civic contribution, which has been a very interesting and laborious journey. I'm a public piñata in some respects, but I find more joy and satisfaction on the charity side. So I want to give back to the community. I want to be healthy. I want to be a thought leader. And if I just stop there, my advice to advisors is to focus on less, and be selfish in a constructive way. Constructive meaning, if you're on an airplane and you have a grandchild next to you, you put the oxygen mask on you first and then on the child, and that's going to save two as opposed to one. And I feel that, doing financial planning without limits had a price. So now I'm focusing on taking care of myself so I could take care of more people.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, you've got to, if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else is gonna. So
No.
it's very important. Yeah. And it sounds like you're very purposeful about the different buckets that you fill. You're like, you know what, the spiritual side is very important. The giving back side, the being a grandfather, and you're just very purposeful about how you divide your time and what you're going to focus on. So
Yeah,
that's great advice. Well, Frank, we really appreciate you sharing your time with us today. Thank you so much on your insights, everything you've done. It sounds like you built just an amazing business, and I look forward to seeing you again, and have a great day.
I can't wait till we meet in person. I've been with CG for 3 years, and I look forward to my first encounter.
I know. I'm so excited to see all you in person too. So until then, have a good one.
You too, Allison. Thanks for the honor, and I look forward to seeing you. Take care.
Bye-bye.